Loto, I don't know. Have you ever heard of a cow wearing a diaper?
Actually,
What?
What? You what?
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Obliterating social norms and overrunning the cultural corrosion with righteous rhetoric and common sense. This is Overflow, the extended conversation covering life, today's newsbreakers, and the occasional banter with the most interesting members of the human species. Signaling from the conservative chasm of Central Valley, California. It's the outlaws your conscience warned you about. Let's welcome your hosts, Loto and PhillVill.
hello everybody, man. It is 2023, and I want to welcome you on behalf of PhillVill to episode 26.
First one of the year.
Wow, yes, we are in 23, bro. How you feeling, Phil?
2023. It's I didn't know I would make it here. I've been so sick for the past since the whole year, but it's great being back. This is our first one of the year.
Praise God.
It's been I think about a month, right, since we've been.
It's been a minute. Man, speaking of finally being back, man, I think everybody missed the drip. So, Philip, why don't you drop the show drip?
All right, a full show lined up for you, and we're going to start off with the March for Life in Washington.
Nice.
Some great highlights taking place, and we got to celebrate. It's the first one after Roe v. Wade, and we got to be discussing the scandal that's been breaking the headlines this year with the documents, the famous documents. And then there's an exorcism that has been in the news, and it's from our very own Nancy. Yep.
She got exercised?
Of negativism. Negativism.
Okay.
Negative Nancy. Anyways, yeah, gotta cast that devil out of her. Oh, sorry, no, Jesus. Okay, so a man finally is, he was fined for prayer. We're gonna talk about that crazy things that are taking place, and there's a full of hot air in a debate to have gas or not have gas. There's a heartbreaking story about a couple who adopted some kids and some crazy crimes, and everybody's calling now for the death penalty. And of course, we'll be having the extended conversations. I'm looking forward to it. But now, Loto, it's been a while since we've been back here in the studio. And actually, since I even seen you,
man, bro, we have one of the heart-wrenching stories. So, bro, how was your break, man? You pretty much spent half of it in the ER, half of it on the couch, half of it in the bed.
True. For those of you that don't know, on Christmas, Loto, this house got sick. Now, on Christmas Day, we're ready to go to my sister's.
Should have been nice.
Yeah, and we're looking
for
forward
being naughty.
A big Christmas, Christmas breakfast there, and we're ready to go. Got the gifts, got everything. But when we woke up, Emily's like, she doesn't feel good, and one thing led to another. We ended up the whole week. She got sick, then I got sick. And that's what I get. I got so sick. I think because in my mind, I'm like, oh, you got sick. I didn't get sick. I'm good.
I remember having that talk.
Yes.
That you're the only one that didn't get sick.
Yes. And then by Tuesday, Wednesday, I started feeling something, and it just hit me. And I've been out for like 3 weeks. Like there was sometimes I was just staring on the wall. I could not breathe. It wasn't COVID. People were asking me, was it COVID? No, it was a little bit of different things and a combo. I went to the doctor and had an infection here, infection there. Oh man, I can only have 10% hearing as we're recording right now in my left ear. So I tried playing the keyboard at church, and Naomi was like, "Your speaker is so loud." And those of you watching, I probably have a loudspeaker already, but my little monitor was so loud because I could barely hear anything.
Man, bro, and then it was crazy because I remember you were just getting better at one point.
Yeah.
And then you got even worse the next day.
Yeah, it's crazy how you remember that. I was like, man, I'm getting better. I feel good. Mm-hmm. And then next thing I know it came back. The second wave was worse than the first wave. It hit me emotionally, I think spiritually. I mean, you can imagine I couldn't do anything else. No work. It was hard to interact. I couldn't talk.
Guy,
I know. I wasn't even hungry. I couldn't even.
Wow.
I was so tired. You pass the time going Instagram or go on TikTok, and I was so not interested. I couldn't even focus on a post. So I know. Woe was me. That was my life. I haven't had a. That's why we haven't recorded. So, but it's good to be back. And about you, how was your holidays? It's been
good, bro.
Yeah.
But I felt for you, man.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to get sick, during the holidays, and then coming into the new year, that's when I actually had COVID, a couple years back.
That's right.
When the whole thing first hit, and it was bad. I mean, it got I did learn one thing. I was determined to do, and that was to get up and walk up and down my hallway. That was the exercise that the only exercise I could do, and I knew I had to keep my lungs moving, and keep it open, And then Maria, I think it really was her that sealed the deal on that. She actually kicked me out of the house. When I was good enough, she kicked me out of the house, put a blanket in the backyard, and had me sit out there in the sun. And that sunlight, boy, I thank God, because that really helped out a lot, man. But so Christmas was awesome, man. Had all the kids, all Fat Five, at the house, man. Wife loved that. We presents. We had a Christmas tree this year. Usually we'll have it at other people's house. We'll just go from outside. So we don't always get a Christmas tree. I'm the Christmas tree guy.
Yeah.
And then this year I did compromise. I did what we did put up a artificial tree. Artificial tree. You
don't say fake, you say artificial.
No, yeah, wasn't nothing fake about it. But it was awesome, man, and it was so cool because we went to we did an elephant game at the staff party, and we did and I got a candle that actually had the aroma of pine trees. And it was so cool. It was like a fireplace, and the thing was crackling. The candle was making the crackling sound. So yeah, that was really cool. But we got the scent and the sound of the fireplace, which was great. Because I didn't feel like going and get a bunch of wood. We have a fireplace, but
that's a debate, right? Real or artificial? Was that a debate? Or
yeah. I remember we wanted to do that. We'll probably do that this year. For Christmas this year. But yeah, definitely, man. I'm all about the real tree, man. Nothing can replace that. But the artificial tree was a lot easier. Yeah,
we. I remember way back, just a few years ago, we always had a real tree. Always. I refused to have a fake plastic, ugly looking tree. But it started going up higher and higher and higher. And Naomi's like, check this out. And we ended up finding a expensive artificial tree on the clearance, and it saved us money. Now it has lights in it. It saves time. Yeah, it looks real. Yeah. We have to water it still. I don't know how they did that with that design.
You watered your artificial tree?
Oh, you're not supposed to water it.
Oh wow, that's cool, bro.
I've been putting water.
Show me how you do that.
Yeah, but no, it's you are paying attention. But no,
wow. A wife moment.
I do that to the wife sometimes, but she always catches.
You are listening. Oh my gosh.
Naomi, we love Naomi, and she knows, like, don't roll your eyes. She rolls her eyes. She can't stop. She goes, I can't help it. She rolls her eyes.
I always get in trouble for rolling my eyes, bro. But no, it was really cool, man, having the artificial tree. And I got to shout out Nettie, because it was her tree, man. They're in the middle of moving. Shout out to my brother-in-law. I don't want to give too much of his business out, man, but man, we're so thankful and God proud of him, man, and his career and everything. But yeah, so they're in the middle of moving, so they let us borrow the tree, and yeah, bro, it was awesome, man. But definitely was praying for you, man, and the family. It's not a way you want to spend, the holidays.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate
being sick and all that,
But I seen, though, even in the middle of getting better, I did see that you're out there ministering, answering the call.
Yeah,
and you had some good things. And we talked about, you did the juvenile hall.
Yeah,
and you also had some other ministry recently.
Yeah, man. I really thank God, man. 2023. I posted on the website, man, that, man, this is the year I come out, or the year of coming out, and that the church is coming out. The devil had 3 years to hold us down and try to lock us in, but, he done messed up. That didn't happen. So, this year, man, I'm really thankful we hit the ground running. Yesterday, I was out there in Sanger. Shout out to Pastor Paul Zavala and Sister Roxanne, Lord God, and Sister Roxanne, and Time and Destiny. Man, I had a blast out there, bro. Talked about just the beginning of the year, and start making your plans now. Don't wait till later. start planning now what your year's gonna look like. Anyways, it was amazing, bro. Had a great time. They got an awesome worship team. A lot his kids are on there, and man, it's just anointed time, brother. You know, and then my goodness, altar call, bro. I mean, God just did a mighty work, brother. It was awesome. It was awesome. Matter of fact, looking forward, you know, to the next one. You know, I'll be out there in Tulare area, you know, coming up soon, which is really cool, bro, because unfortunately, man, you know, a lot of people has heard about the massacre shooting, you know, out there in Goshen, which is right there in Tulare County, man. But I'm so excited about being out there in the community, out there in the streets, man, because, you know, God's given me a testimony, brother, that I really believe is going to make an impact. And I'm always amazed every time I get an opportunity, bro, and just to see what God does out there.
And it's always great. Again, it goes catching up, right? After all this time.
Yes. Amen, bro. And, you know, PhillVill, man, I appreciate, just always being supportive, you know, with what I do and all that. And you know me, man, if I am ministering here at home, I got no business ministering out there in the world, you know? So I believe it's February 8th, right? I'll be right here in our own backyard at Liberty Coalition, you know? So for those of you that aren't busy, man, come and show up. But PhillVill, what do we have?
Well, it's time for...
It's your newsmakers and breakers.
It's amazing to me that God actually used football to shine some light on the subject of life for all of us. 3 weeks ago, during a game in Cincinnati, something happened that impacted our entire country. A young man named Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills made a routine tackle and his heart stopped beating right on the field. It could have been tragic, but something miraculous happened. The team medical staff rushed out. They got Damar's heart started again. But you know what? That wasn't the miracle. The real miracle was the reaction of everyone to that. The announcers on the broadcast, what did they say? All we can do is pray.
The people in the media were saying, all we could do right now is pray. Man, isn't that God? Like in the time, the very thing they're trying to outlaw, outban, put in the rules, write people up, fine them for, they called out to God.
Man, it was really awesome, bro. It was so encouraging, man. Such a blessing, you know, just to see the response, you know, and even the people, you know, I love the one everybody knows, a sportcaster, you know, who took time to pray on air. That was amazing.
You know, this came up at March for Life. And Mr. Dungy, he said, to support those unborn babies who don't have a voice, he called for us to pray for the unborn child. And guess what? A lot of people in the media, a lot of pundits started saying, stick to sports. And Breitbart, there's an article here, stick to sports. Leftists blast Tony Dungy for invoking Damar Hamlin at the March for Life. Loto, your take on a public figure taking a stand on the right for life.
The March for Life was an amazing success. I'm so blessed and so encouraged that there's still such a synergy, even after the ruling that we got last year. You know, these folks, man, you know, the decision goes back to the states, but I'm so encouraged that people are still showing up to the capital of the nation, you know, and to show their support, you know, that it didn't just fade away because we won this small little win. You know, it is a great win, but we need to keep fighting this fight. And as far as we you know, the media and coach, I've got no comment on that. I'm not going to do what they do and just poo-poo and everything, you know. No, I think this was an amazing thing. This was awesome. This is a big win for everybody.
Yeah, and we also saw some great stories there. The Catholic News Agency is reporting twin sisters with a special bond speak out for the unborn. There was a nun there.
That was awesome, man.
Powerful. Sister Mary Casey O'Connor.
Yes.
Has more than 100 sisters, but only one of them is her twin sister, Casey Gunning, who has Down syndrome. A powerful testimony of the call for life.
Amen. It was so powerful, man, just to watch both girls, you know, working together, you know, and I was really encouraged, man. Shout out to the handicapable community. I loved it when she pointed that out, man. And, you know, that the greatest ability that we all can have is just to love.
Yeah. And there was a poem that kind of like really came to light on social media because of
hold on, tissue alert. I know it feels and I'm telling you guys right now, get your tissues ready.
For the blocks that won't get stacked, for the footsteps that won't be taken, for the Legos that won't be built, for the sun and its warmth that won't be felt, for the swings that won't swing, for the toy trains and trucks that won't get pushed, for the clear nights that won't be contemplated, for the excavators and garbage trucks that won't be marveled at, for the oceans and lakes that won't be swooned in, for the tudis that won't be worn, for the mountains that won't be marveled at, for the dinosaurs that won't be read about, for the puddles that won't be jumped on, for the moons, planets, and stars that won't be seen, for the raindrops that won't be felt, for the books that won't be read, for the worlds that won't be imagined, the instruments that won't be played, for the birds that won't be heard, for the words that won't be spoken, for the dreams that will never be dreamed. For all these things, experiences, and more, that only the wonder of a child can give their full meaning and direct the course of their entire lives, and of all those around them, but are instead taken away. We march, we declare the truth of life in the womb, and we beg for mercy.
And that was a graphic by Little Wade's Designs Co., I believe. Yeah, that's and I could just imagine a mother reading that, PhillVill. You know, somebody that has that relationship with that baby, carrying a baby for 9 months. I'm just really grateful, man. It sounds like it was a great event, very successful. And I'm glad that man, we're still on the front line, you know. And we need to fight for our unborn children. We need to fight for the innocent. It just blows my mind that so much of these things have been politicized, but these are innocent unborn children we're talking about. That shouldn't even be a debate, you know. But that's where we are in this nation. We have to be realistic about where we're at. And so
we will continue to celebrate the right for life. We had a great win in 2022 with Roe v. Wade being overturned, and we will continue to celebrate that and just pray for the various states that are still having laws that are basically killing babies, and those sanctuary states too, just like here in California. And speaking of politics, man, did you hear about the classified documents? Yes.
I don't know who hasn't heard, bro. I think
it was Trump, right? There's a big raid that took place, and the FBI agents came out with the guns out. No, it wasn't it wasn't Trump. It was Biden. The lawyers discovered the documents, and they're cooperating right now. Biden, yes, there's a scandal taking place here in America, and I just want to hear your thoughts, Loto, on what's taking place with Biden.
Oh, you know, there's this whole thing. It's crazy, right? I mean, obviously, there's so much hypocrisy, so much double standard, and all of that. One thing I do want to point out, especially for our audience, the family, is be careful with what you hear. You know, we have to remember the media is not on our side. They are not trying to expose Biden. You know, but there's so many stories out there. You know, you talk about misinformation, you know, these folks are really good at playing that game, and it's the info war, you know. So they're good at dropping, you know, hey, $50,000, you know, or whatever amount, you know, and then be able to come back and say, oh, it wasn't even 50,000. Oh, these people are liars, you know. Oh, you know, we found 6 documents, you know, and then they'll come back and say, wait a minute, it wasn't 6, it was only 5. See, all these people are liars, you know. And so you got all the smoke and screen, and you totally missed the whole, the real story.
Yeah, I know. They're saying 6 documents, or they're actually looking at the language of some of these, like 6 items or 9 items. Really, that items could be a big box full of classified documents. And they're saying that the search is over at one time. And there's another round of more documents. And why is this important? And I think a lot of times, like you said, we're getting in the weeds of how many documents, how many this, and how much money is it? 49,000, 50,000, 48,000. And us on the way we view it is like, what were those documents? Why were those documents there? What were they about? And they're trying to make it about the infraction of, well, it was against the law just for the classified documents being there. But really, it's really about a cover up. What is that cover up of?
Well, see, and so again, that's why we had to go back to the original date, November 2nd. What happened on November 2nd, and what has happened since? But honestly, what's happened before that? You know, so
But that was before the election itself. That's before the midterms.
Yes.
So the timing,
exactly.
who sat on it?
Let's answer those questions
Who
first.
made that decision to withhold those documents?
And then remember, they came out and they assigned a special counselor, you know, to investigate Trump while they knew that they had this scandal on their hands, you know. So again, you know, we have to be clear-minded, you know, don't get caught up in the, you know, in whatever, every single thing they're trying to throw at us to keep us, you know, distracted. No.
You said it right there. The council, they assigned special counsel for the Biden,
Mm-hmm.
but who was assigned that? Who's the one that was appointed to that council?
And then, isn't that a really good way at keeping things covered? They love to pull the we cannot talk about that because it's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
So now it's almost like that's their lid, you know. Hey, we need to cover something up, put in a special investigator on it. That way we can claim that it's an ongoing investigation. Well, what happened with it's an ongoing investigation? Well, what happened with it? Well, I can't answer because of ongoing investigation. So
what's the beginning of that though? Say the press corps right there in the John Pierre, I forget her name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she says, well, go back to the DOJ. That's a question for them.
Exactly.
Knowing that the DOJ is not going to answer because it's an ongoing investigation.
Yep. So again, we have to stay clear-headed about this, you know, and stick to the real facts, stick to the real stuff, and don't get caught up in the fluff.
And the left is really trying really hard to minimize and compare. While Trump was the worst one, they're trying to compare everything to
whataboutisms.
The whataboutism. And you could see evidence of that there on SNL. They had a skit. They've been focusing more on George Santos jokes, and they have zero jokes regards to the documents on Joe Biden.
It would be funny if it wasn't our national security at stake here.
Yes, and speaking of funny, there is moving on is I don't know if you hear about this. Nancy Pelosi summoned priests to perform exorcism of her San Francisco town.
On her? Or
I know I was wondering if I thought I saw her eyes glow really red.
Oh man.
TMZ first reported this, Loto, and in the Breitbart has an article about the former Speaker of the House and her daughter. Alexandra delivered the news in an interview with Maureen Dowd of the New York Times published Saturday concerning that very exorcism. And then there's another one saying, yes, the church themselves is saying that she lied. Basically, that the
priest denied that there was any of that activity, right?
Yep.
Anybody, any of his staff, any of his folks? Yeah.
So I don't know who's lying.
I don't know, man. I think they did an exorcism on the wrong house, brother. They did on her house. Maybe our state house and our Congress, house needs that. The people's house needs it.
Man, like you would say, right? They needed to do that. Over the break, this came to light because the new year, right?
Yes.
Activated a lot of laws that were put in place that our great legislator here in California put in motion. And one of them just stood out to us that the sanctuary state of California here in Breitbart article that Governor Gavin Newsom authorizes border crossers to police Americans as cop, saying that Newsom signed the bill, SB 960, which only requires the law enforcement officers in the state to have a work permit to be employed in the United States. Basically saying it's removing all residency requirements. So anybody that is a non-citizen can become a cop.
Bro, so now the police, walks up to your window, registration and ID, sir. You know what I'm going to say? Can I see your ID and registration, sir?
Wow.
Can I see your papers? You know, like this is crazy. So they don't have to be a citizen, but they can arrest citizens. Bro, I have my own hunch about what's going on, and it's very, there's times when I just don't want to be right, bro. I can really see, people who really doesn't have the best interest in our communities, but those who will take advantage of this type of thing and really punish the goodwill people and elevate those who are not so goodwill. Because, man, if they're already breaking laws, now we're going to put the uniform on them and we expect them to go ahead and uphold our laws. Now, obviously, man, not everybody, who doesn't have citizenship over here, are all evil, or anything like that.
Yeah, we're not saying that at all.
But if we can't even clear just one little standard, but a really important standard, that they're citizens, I see a big miss with this one.
Yeah, it's worth noting here in Breitbart, it continues on saying existing law requires peace officers in the state to meet specified minimum standards, including among them requirements being at least 18 years of age, being good moral character, and determined by a thorough background investigation. So I'm asking this question because it's saying that they need a background investigation, but we know that over 150 different countries, nationals are coming across the border. How do we do background checks on people that are from so many different countries?
That
with
don't,
they're not in the system.
They don't have backgrounds to check.
Loto, I don't know if you ever heard of a cow wearing a diaper.
Actually,
What?
What? You what?
I'm not gonna be me.
Well, I'll spare you this. I saw this on Tucker, and I think you even heard about it. It's just like a farmer is speaking out because the government is trying to force their cows to wear diapers to contain methane emissions. And they're quoting, "Gone to the loony town." And they want to regulate them by putting diapers on and also to somehow capturing their, I have to say the word, farts.
Feces and the
farts, yeah.
Fluctuants.
Yes. And Loto, how outrageous is this?
I don't know what's the beef about this one. I don't get it.
Oh man,
like this is so crazy, bro. Like what, hugs? Like who's gonna provide diapers for cows? Like, yeah, I don't know, man. This is. I mean, yeah, bro. This is just ridiculous. But again, remember what I told you, everyone.
Okay.
Remember what I said. These people, you got to stay on top of it because they don't know when to stop. They cannot take no for an answer. They will keep trying until they get their way. Look. When AOC first started talking about this, right?
That's right.
When she first started talking about
that,
this and any of the planes, airplanes and all that, and we all laughed. But I already knew, like, oh man, they're not playing though. They're gonna keep pursuing this. Now we're talking about, look, we're talking about cows over there in Australia. Now we're talking about them over here. We're actually wearing diapers, airplanes. Now we see how airplanes, they're, there's a big move on shutting those down, and all that. So no, they're, this is serious, and again, it wouldn't be so funny if it wasn't so serious.
Yeah, and they're mandating the farmers to do big things to cut emissions, and so this is the proposal, and they're actually moving forward with some of this, I guess, my understanding. But the question was posed: how much does one cow go per day, and who's going to change that diaper? Think about that. It's like the whole, man, that's, I wouldn't want that job. Yeah. That's we're going to move right along. Okay. The Post Millennial is reporting the man fined after silently praying for deceased son outside UK abortion clinic. He was fined out there just for praying. Isn't that his religious liberty there, Loto, that's being taken away?
Where was this at?
In actually UK.
So overseas, yeah. Well, you know what? We're hearing a lot of that going on over there. Remember, there was somebody that got arrested for just praying on the corner, and so this is again very alarming, and we should pay attention because for some reason our leaders wants to model us after European, politics. So
yeah,
I don't think we're too far from this if we just allow them to have their way.
And the question is, why did they stop? Because stop them from praying and fine them, because in UK, I guess they're dubbed the censorship zones surrounding the nation's abortion clinics. So they're not allowed to have, I guess, religious freedom stops in certain areas.
So as soon as we realize that this is not political, this is actually a religious war that's going on, we're going to continue to look at these stories and be baffled. Until we realize, like, no, there's a source behind this, and it goes back to communism, which has its roots in Satanism. In order for communism and social to work, they got to get rid of God. You cannot have another religious, structure in order, and then have communism, evolve or grow, because communism is that there is no God, so that one guy can be in charge, and that guy is actually trying to be the God, of society. So yeah, bro. I mean, this is again more of the same stuff. I just really hope we're starting to pay attention now.
Yeah, the next one has to deal with parents' rights, and the DNYUZ.com is reporting when students change gender identity and parents don't know. There's a situation that Jessica Bradshaw found out that her 15-year-old identified as a transgender at school after she glimpsed at a homework assignment with an unfamiliar name scrawled at the top. When she asked about the name, the teenager acknowledged that at his request, teachers and administrators at his school in Southern California had been doing this for 6 months and the parents had no idea what was going on.
Parents, we got to get more involved with our students' lives, especially if they're in public schools. We're starting to see the danger of not paying attention to what our kids are involved with, and man, these schools are not going to come and tell us everything. So we have to be a lot more diligent, but this is sad. It is very sad that a parent actually has to be worried about the place that they dropped their kids off, which is supposed to be a safe place. But now we're starting to see otherwise.
On the Daily Mail reporting and many outlets have you seen, it's just a heartbreaking story. Adoptive gay couple charged with sodomizing their adopted sons also pimped them out to local men, sent out videos of them raping boys. Full horror of mysteriously wealthy couples' sordid lives revealed in a jaw-dropping court docs. And I've seen this on social media that everybody's for the death penalty on this one. This is just a horrific crime against children.
Bible says, man, if you offend one of these kids, hurt them, it's better that you tie a millstone around your neck and jump into the water.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking even just to talk about this, but it feels important because we've seen this couple. One of them was working at a local branch. Somehow the couple was making $7,500 a week for their crimes.
They need to do something about this couple and pursue those who were the customers. Like who in the world is paying for this and doing this? This is horrendous, bro. This is, I mean, I don't know how much more evil you get than this type of evil.
Man, evil.
Yeah. So it's I don't know, this stuff this is very infuriating. This is those times when I want to look at Jesus, and ask him, Lord, can you please close your eyes for 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Or turn away, for 3 seconds, because I cannot. This is happening today. Now this couple, did they have a history of sexual offense?
I believe one of them, I heard a report that they did have a background. And I don't know how they made it through the system. Man, and an investigation from Town Hall has emerged that, they abused, but they found that they were offering them up to other men there in the community. It's just, again, I keep on saying the word heartbreaking because cops found photos and videos of Zachary Zolik, just doing despicable things on his phone and computer. And he was even boasting in one message saying that what he was going to do to his son that night. Man, it's evil. This is evil, evil, evil.
Phil, man, this whole thing, bro, I know that, the headlines that say transgenders, gay couple and all that. Brother, this goes beyond transgenderism. This goes beyond, it doesn't even matter that they were gay or transgender. This is just straight evil, bro. Yeah. This is just, because guess what? Another bit of fact from this story, a lot of people aren't aware of. They adopted these kids from, I believe, a Christian organization, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, how much diligence, do we really need to, to go, for the sake of these kids and to keep them safe? It was a Christian organization, brother, and so I know the Christian community, is going to get beat up, and, oh, well, you guys allow this and that, and then that brings up the other question. Okay, do you want us to consider people as sexual orientation or not? But besides all that, this goes way beyond that, brother. We're talking about kids. We're now finding out that there's audio recording of these guys in prison, or in jail, talking about this, and you, I believe you said that they were actually bragging about this stuff.
Yeah, they were on record telling somebody that, hold on a second, because what they're planning to do is basically have sex with one of their sons. Just the things that they found on their phone, videos and recordings. It's just, man, they're talking about, if you don't believe in the death penalty or something, this is evil. This is just plain, just like those of you that have kids, How can somebody treat an innocent child this way? Then send them to other adults for them to have their way with that child. I don't even know how old these kids were, but they're really young. Do you know how old they were? One was 11, one was 9. Man,
With California being a sanctuary state, I need to call this out. With all these transgender law and what they're doing to these kids, what do we think is the end game here? What do we think is the end game here? Do we think that it's just gonna stop at, hey, she thinks she's a girl, or a boy, and he thinks that he's a girl? I'm sorry, I have to say, this is the result. Things like this is these guys didn't just one day just wake up like this. Things were allowed, and they were allowed, and they were allowed. And when people aren't checked on, when we don't make sure that, that we keep an eye on things, a close eye on things, evil begins to take place and have its way. We know the old paradox, that the only thing that evil needs to succeed is that good people don't do nothing. Well, it's time for us to start doing something. It's time for us to start saying something. It's time for us to start speaking up. I don't know about you, but I don't want another 11-year-old, another 9-year-old going through this. And again, I don't care if the couple is transgender or gay or anything like that. But my goodness, at the same time this story is going on, we kind of just got passed, these laws that were passed, that allows a kid to go through transgender, they call it therapy or whatever they call it, a process or whatever. And their parents don't even need to know about it, or not need to know about it, but they don't even need to tell the parents about it. And then they pass a law that allows the insurance to pay for these things. And the insurance gets in trouble if they tell the parents. My goodness. We shouldn't be trying to keep parents in the dark. We need to bring parents out in the light. And guess what? I'm sorry, parents. They're not going to do that for you. They're not going to turn the light on for you. They're not going to put the light on for you. You got to go and get your kids. You have to turn the light on for yourself. You have to do the information research yourself. You have to stand up for yourself. These people are not going to just let you no, they're trying to take your kids. My goodness, they're trying to mutilate your kids. For what? You got people that we're supposed to trust and that we're supposed to, keep our kids safe with, and we drop our kids off to these people every single day. Now, I'm not saying that every educator is a pervert. I'm not saying that every educator is this sex-driven whatever. But how is it that we allow this to happen? We need to step up. We can do better, especially for our children, especially for our kids. And again, PhillVill, I say it all the time, brother. Yeah. The problem with this world ain't because sinners are being sinners. The problem with this world is because the church is not being the church. And I love my church, and I'm not talking about our churches. I'm talking about the church overall, capital C. And man, we are the good people that has sat around. I thank God that now we're stepping up. We are stepping up. But it's stories like this that needs to remind us that we need to stay standing and never again just sit around while you have evil animals like this doing these things to our kids. I'm sorry, Phil, I didn't mean to get into that.
Man, it's hard not to be emotional and react to this because kids, they were prostituting kids. You're right to be angry. It's we got to take a stand. Speak up for those who don't have a voice, who can't be vocal from the womb to the tomb. Right? We got to really, really stand up for our kids and I don't even know how to go to the next one, but we got to keep them in prayer. These boys, man, they're going to carry that. They're going to carry that with them.
Yeah.
And there's so many out there who tell their story and what they've gone through and how that carries on with them as adults and impact them. This is this is not going to go away in their lives.
Bro, this thing, it hits at the heart, brother, because I know the impact of something like this. My life was destroyed because of molestation. Not a lot of people know. But I've experienced this thing, in the worst way possible. And multiple times. And not only by one person. And I know how this can just completely destroy you. Not just physically, but mentally. Where you think certain things are okay. And you think, things, because it's what you've been shown. And man, and that's why I'm very passionate, even about the whole, homosexuality thing and all that, because I know what it is to be sexually confused. I know what it is to be sexually, impacted. Brother, it took me a lifetime to get healed from this. It took me a lifetime to conquer certain things, and these things unaddressed, these things just, I'm be honest, ignored. It comes at a cost, and these poor babies, PhillVill, yes, you're absolutely right. We do need to pray for them. We do have to pray for them, because my gosh, this stuff doesn't leave you. It does not leave you. This thing is going to haunt them for all of their lives. But we have to pray for them. And I pray that they, come to a place where they have a relationship with Jesus Christ if they don't already, because Jesus is the only one that can heal from this. Matter of fact, right now, PhillVill, if you don't mind, I'm going to speak to the family. But family, extended family, there's some of you out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're dealing with this thing. And now it's created even a monster in you. And you created habits. You created just these addictions. And it's so hard for you. And then it's so hard for you to come out with it because you've been turned into a monster. Everybody has admitted that man, everyone that deals with things with the fruit of this evil, porn, homosexuality, transgenderism. I'm sorry, but the society has made people who deal with it into monsters. But I know you're not a monster. I know that you're dealing with one, though. And I know this monster gets you every single time. Like, things are going good, and then you're in your room and you're by yourself, and then that phone's laying there, and that monster wakes up. Now you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing. You go to school. On your way to school, you start seeing certain things. Now you're in the house where you're not even supposed to be. And it's so hard for you to overcome this. I promise you, there is a way. There is hope. There is hope. Believe me, there is hope. There's monsters that, man, I thought was going to have the best of me all of my life. I thought there was no hope. I thought that these monsters were going to take me out. Like, I thought that they were going to consume me and just get the best of me. But I'm telling you right now, there is hope. There is hope in a relationship with Jesus Christ. If you would just call on him, even now, don't wait for later. Don't wait till the show's over. Even now, if you just cry out to Jesus, say, Jesus, help me. I've tried everything. God, I've tried. I wake up every day and I try. And I still mess up and I still fail. But Jesus can heal you from that. I promise you he can. But you got to stick with it. You got to stick to it. And you got to hold on to him. You got to hold on to him. Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's yes, God can do something amazing in my transition, man, from being unsaved to saved. Man, I thank God because I had addictions that disappeared overnight. But I still had those other addictions that it took a process and it took time. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to mess up tomorrow. And then you might even mess up the day after that. But the Bible tells us that a righteous man falls 7 times. 7 times. 7 times. That 7 times they failed did not define them. God said that person is still righteous. Why? Because their falling down didn't define them. It was their getting back up that defined them. Actually, it wasn't even that. It was God that defined them. God calls you righteous. God calls you righteous. Don't let your falling down define who you are. God has called you righteous. Beloved, when you do mess up, because you will, you get back up. You get back up. I said this all the time. I'm not telling you it's okay to mess up. I'm telling you it's okay to get back up. But get up the right way. All of us, we always try to, get right back on track and jump on our feet and start running. Nope. You get on your knees first. You get on your knees first. And I promise you, I'm telling you, you think you've done some bad things. I'm pretty sure I've done worse than you. You want to talk about skeletons in the closet that man, people don't want to come out, brother. I've got cases and cases and cases of coffins up in my closet. But I thank Jesus that he came. And because he came in, we're able to come out. So I don't know who's out there and needs to listen. I know I believe this is a God moment. Call on Jesus. Hold on to him. And hey, if you let go, it's all right. He's still holding on to you, but you better get a hold of him again. I love you. Phil?
Man, Loto, thank you again for sharing that. It's powerful. I know it's just stuff that probably you and I have talked about and some things shared in small settings, but I think it's important for us to share this with Overflow extended family.
Amen. Wow, bro. That was that's what we call a Holy Ghost interruption, brother.
Yeah. I praise God for that. That's gonna really minister to a lot of people. Touch me too. Just
amen.
Just God had his way today.
Yeah, bro. And really, bro, in closing, now let me fluff some feathers even more. And I need to finish this asking a question, PhillVill. And this question might people might turn things off and all that, but this is a serious question. We talked about the effects of this horrific. Oh gosh, I don't even have enough words to describe it, bro.
Yeah.
But Phil, as I look back and as I consider, everything, that man was just shared. Phil, we had more stuff for the show, bro, but it was, I really believe, man, I really thank God that he interrupted. But I have to ask this question to you, myself, and all of you, extended family, all the viewers, and thank you again for being with us on this journey. But here's the question, because you guys can obviously hear in my voice and my tone and PhillVill's, you can hear the rage, the anger, and honestly, rightfully so. But we have to remember something. And I want to ask, I think it's the best way I can illustrate the point I'm trying to make. These two individuals who are responsible for this, who did this to these poor boys, do they get an opportunity to salvation? Do they get an opportunity? Should they get an opportunity for redemption? Should they? That's a very tough thing to wrestle with, isn't it, Philip?
Yeah, we do see in the Bible how God forgave Paul and people that murdered David. He's gone through so many different extremes of sin. And that's kind of a hard question. You see that happen. I mean, they've done the unthinkable. And I'm glad I'm not God.
I think you just answered for everybody else, brother. And that is the truth. But beloved, thank you for coming on this journey with us, man. It's amazing. We're like in the second year, of this, and just so grateful, and PhillVill, thank you, brother. But man, what a show, bro. I think we said a lot.
And we have a whole lot more to say, and I look forward to more future discussions.
Yes.
And people are going to learn more about us, and people are going to learn more about God. And I just really just pray that God's light is shown here, and we talk about the overflow. We want overflow to happen in your life, in your relationship with God.
That's right.
And thank you for joining us each and every week in this new year. In this new year, say it again. In this new year, being part of us. Man, see, I've been sick so long. It's great to be back, but I missed you guys. It's good being back. Join us each and every week, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God is doing something with the show. We want to get the word out.
Yes.
Thank you again, Loto, for today.
Thank you, PhillVill. We love you all. Lord bless.
You've been listening to Overflow, the extended conversation, obliterating social norms and overrunning the cultural corrosion with righteous rhetoric and common sense. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on social media at Overflow EXT. Lord bless, and we'll see you next time on Overflow, the extended conversation.